All right, here we go. Lesson 6.5, point slope form and writing linear equations. A line goes through the point 5, 8 in an unknown point x, y. Set up a true equation based on these facts. I have to realize that I got to move my screen a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about what slope is. Slope is, okay, change in y over change in x. So if I say y minus 8, right, whoops, over x minus 5 will equal my slope. Now what I'm going to do is I don't want to have anything in the denominator. So what I can do here is multiply both sides by x minus 5. Sorry, my pen's not working very well right now. Hopefully that'll change as we go through the taping. All right, so these x minus 5s cancel, and you're left with y minus 8 equals m times the quantity x minus 5. That, ladies and gentlemen, right there is a linear equation in point slope form. The point slope form of an equation of a non-vertical line passes through the points x1, y1 and has a slope of m. So we're going to use this definition, the slope formula, to write an equation in point slope form that passes through these points. First of all, let's go back to what point slope formula is. It is y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1, where the y and the x stay variables, but the y sub 1 and x sub 1 are a point on your line. So let's use the fact that point slope y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. And we're going to write this, the line that passes through 3, 2 and has a slope of 1/2. Notice we have a point and we have a slope, hence the point slope formula. So y minus y1 is -2. So y minus -2 equals, the slope is 1/2. And when y is -2, x is 3. So I'm going to put 3 in for x sub 1, x minus 3. Notice here though, minus a negative, we're going to make that y plus 2 equals 1/2 times the quantity x minus 3. There you go. So that's the equation of a line in point slope formula. Remember, point slope formula, keep thinking, it's when you have a point and the slope. So now we want to graph this equation. Well, let's go back and think of what my point is here. X minus x1, so 2 is my x value of the point. Y minus 5, y minus y1, so 5 is my y value. So I can go over 2, up 5. Right. Slope is 1/2. So from here I'm going to go down 1, left 1, because I know my slope has to be positive, and down and to the left, a negative and a negative, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So let's just make this line between these. Oops. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to use my pen. So basically you're going to draw this. Whoop. There you go. Not very pretty, but hopefully you get the idea. Example 2, we want to write the equation of a line that has a slope of -3 and passes through the point -1, 7. So here we go. Y minus my y value, which is 7, equals the slope times the quantity x minus my x value. Once again, we're going to clean that up because I have minus a negative, so it's y minus 7 equals -3 times the quantity x plus 1. And there you have it. Now we want to write an equation for this line in point slope form and in slope intercept form. All right, so, well, let's look. Let's find out what the slope is first. So I know it's negative. So go from point to point, I go down 1, oops, over 2. All right, so my slope is, oops, over 3, excuse me. My slope is negative 1/3. I can use either point to write my equation in point slope form. It does not matter. So I'm going to use, I don't like dealing with negatives, I'm going to use the 0.23. If I can avoid negatives, I will. So this is y minus 3 equals the quantity to, oops, nope, negative 1/3 times the quantity x minus 2. There you go. That's the equation in point slope form. Now let's change it to slope intercept form. So I'm going to keep the y minus 3 equals negative 1/3 x plus 2/3. And now all I have to do is add 3 to both sides. So I'm going to get y equals negative 1/3 x plus 3 2/3. You can also make that 11/3. I don't have time to do this, but why don't you prove to yourself that if you had picked this other point, negative 1/4, written in slope intercept form, and I'm sorry, written in point slope and then slope intercept, you would get the exact same equation. So pause your tape and go back and do that and compare, make sure they're the same. So now I have two sets of data are linear if the rate of change between consecutive pairs, whoops, of data is always the same. Sorry, this isn't, I need to move these over a little bit. Oh, you have it on your paper, so. I'm a rookie at this. You got to give me a, give me a little bit of time to get better. Okay, so let's check. So we're going to find out if these two tables model a linear equation. Well, let's go. This difference is down 2. Wow. So y goes down 2 while x goes up by 1. So negative 2 over 1 would be that rate of change. This goes down 6 while this comes up. Oh, sorry. Well, this goes down 3. Excuse me, it's down. So negative 2 over negative 1, that rate of change is positive 2. Negative 6 over negative 3, that rate of change is positive 2. So this is linear because these two consecutive pairs of data has the same slope, the rate of change. Let's check this one. So from negative 2 to negative 1, I go up 1. From negative 2 to negative 1, I go up 1. So if I did change in y over change in x, it would be 1. This from negative 1 to 0, I go up 1. However, from negative 1 to 1, I go up 2. So that would not be linear because they don't have the same rate of change. Okay, 3 forms of linear equations. You must know these. Slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Standard form, ax plus by equals c. Point slope form, y minus y1 equals the quantity m, which is slope, times equals m, excuse me, times the quantity x minus x1. I'm stumbling on my words a little bit. So let's talk about when the slope-intercept form is going to be the most useful or convenient. I would say turn the recording off and try to answer these on your own and then come back and check. So I would say the slope-intercept form is most useful when you're graphing, right? Because it's very easy to just find your y-intercept, your slope, and graph. It's also, I think, like for word problems, if you are wanting to know you start at $300 and you earn $15 per week, it's very easy to see what your starting value is and what your rate of change is. Standard form, I think standard form, we're going to get to this later, but when we do find out where two lines intersect, standard form can be useful for word problems. Let's go, and when, well, I'm not going to say more about that. The other thing that standard form is if I want to find the x and y intercepts, right? Those are very easy to find. Point slope form, some teachers that have not taught higher level courses think that point slope form isn't necessary. However, it's necessary when you find tangent lines in calculus, right? And I think it's useful when you have a point and the slope. And you can very easily write it in point slope form and then solve for y. All right, that's it for this recording. Please make sure you go to that quiz and answer questions. I promise these will get better. This is only my second one, so let's hope they get better. Have a great night. Thanks.